guys, conflict avoidance is conflict multiplied. I tell that to myself every single morning I wake. Because for the longest, I would always avoid that conflict that I knew I had to face within myself one day. I knew one day I was going to have to face it in order to be a better man for my family, for my future wife and kids. You know, skinny, scrawny self, I was insecure, not only because of how I looked, but because of how I felt about myself, because of my actions and habits. You know, there is an alligator crossing the road. Baby alligator crossing the road. That's hilarious. Okay. But anyway, guys, so it's a good omen passing the road. You know how a black cat crosses the road? This is a good omen that a baby alligator is crossing the road. Very good. Anyway, I could have wrestled it, by the way. So, you know, I woke up in the morning. That's what changed me in the first place. So what changed me really in the first place was I was laying down on the couch after coming off of an extreme cross-faded high. I was smoking weed, getting high, and drinking alcohol at the same time, popping Percocets. Percocets was like my choice of drug whenever I was doing that type of stuff. So I realized whenever I was laying there on the couch, trying to find a good angle, when I was laying there on the couch, just an immense sense of regret, immense sense of notification from above, from the heavens above, telling me down here below that I needed to change, I needed to do something. Now, I would always feel that subconscious voice within me in the back of my head. You know, I never really could enjoy pleasurable moments because something purposeful was calling me towards something higher. And the moment I realized that was the moment that I was laying down on the couch. I was laying down on the couch and I was just filled up with regret within myself. I saw exactly how other people viewed me and I did not like it. You know, and that's exactly how I started viewing myself. I looked at exactly what my parents thought of me. I was staying at my parents' house. I mean, you know, that's obviously, and I was still doing all of that stuff. And I had like price tags written on the bags of pill bags that my mom caught me with. And I mean, that was just absolutely horrible. But you know, I was laying down on the couch and all the regret and everything caught up to me. And then I realized, wow, you know, regret is my guidance. So many people out here are such fucking liabilities because they're so liable to any pleasure that may come their way while they're on the path of purpose. They let any pleasure come their way. I mean, most of you guys do that. You know, you're on the path of personal development, of growth, of going to the gym and bettering yourself. You're working, you're providing for your family, you're providing for yourself. But your habits, your health habits are shit. Your health habits are shit. You have nothing in line, nothing in place, no structure, no days laid out. This is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow in order to personally develop myself past all the bullshit that I used to succumb to once before. And that was me at that moment, until then. Until that awakening moment on the couch where I actually woke up and realized, you know, what am I doing with my life? I finally accepted it. For the longest, I would always ignore it. I would say, I need help, you know, I need to go, I need to get 5150, I want to be put in a mental hospital, I want to be arrested, I want this, I wanted that. That's the idea and the ideal image that I created for myself, in which I actually admired. And I went after it, and I did. I got arrested, I got 5150. But until then, after I accomplished all of that, you know, I truly then felt the regret within myself, and I was able to be aware, but not only be aware, but acceptance. I accepted that I was a piece of shit. I accepted that, you know, I would make my parents cry all the time because of the person that I was becoming. And I accepted it. And when I actually accepted it, that's when it hurt the most. And maybe then I realized, oh, that's why I was avoiding it so much, because I knew this path would be painful. I knew the path of personal development would be painful. Most people run away from it. Why would you run away from something in which you know that's meant to build you? It's going to break you. It's going to break you at first, but it's going to build you. Any adversity that comes in my life now, I've developed the calluses on my mind throughout those years of trial and error of being a piece of shit and overcoming it, that I realize that any negative situation that's circumstantial that comes into my way either is there to build or break me. And whether if not, if I choose to let it build or break me, is completely solely determined up to me. Because my perception on myself is the perception on the world around me. I view the world exactly how I view myself. How do you view yourself? How do you view the world around you? If you view the world around you like shit, that's a direct reflection of you. And if anything I'm saying is hitting you like a ton of bricks, or it's just, you're feeling relatable, relating to it, then that is the absolute truth that you need to take accountability on. Look in the accountability mirror. The first step of changing is actually admitting that you need it in the first place. So why would you avoid it? Why are you constantly seeking happiness in the same place you're losing it? Why are you drowning in the external solutions to a problem that stems internally throughout the vices, the drugs, the drinking that absolutely gets you nowhere but regret and the thought of changing? The thought of changing, the same thought you had before taking the substance, you still have after, but only difference is you actually feel it. You feel the regret, you feel the pain of knowing that you're not doing anything to move the goalposts forward. And as men, boredom leads to desires, leads to vices, as women as well. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So the more I stay idle and bored, then the more I'm going to be consumed, the more of a consumer that I'm going to be of everything bad around me. Because if I'm not forward progressing towards anything in the future, then I'm past regressing towards some negative shit in the past that happened in the past. But the only way that you can truly stay present within the moment and not forward project towards anything anxious, any anxiety in the future, or past regress towards anything bad or negative and depressing in the past, is staying solely present within the present moment. And okay, you know that. Everyone knows that. However, we fail to be reminded of it on a daily basis. And to know and not do is to not know. So if you know it but don't do it, then why are you claiming that you know something that you don't implement every single day? I implement my word every single day to myself, and I hold myself accountable to a way higher standard than most people do down here below, which is why I can talk the way I talk, which is why I can walk the way I walk, but regardless of needing any validation from any man of it. The only validation in which is needed from myself is only from me and God above, and that is it. That is everything. Do you know how good it feels? Do you know how good I thought it would feel back in the past to actually finally be jacked? I said if I could be jacked, then my life would then be complete. If I can only be jacked, if I could only be spiritually inclined, mentally disciplined, physically capable, then I would actually be happy with my life. Everything would be set in point, set in stone. Then I can actually move on and go find a wife and have some kids and go to husband and family, whatever. Because that would be the cornerstone, that would be the basis, which is correct, and it's so true. But the thing is, it's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to actually dance and weather the storm. Dance in the rain, weather the storm. That is the ultimate truth that needs to be told, and that is the ultimate belief in which needs to be instilled within not only myself, but each and everyone else out there. Because most people's problems, most of you guys' problems nowadays is realizing or thinking, not realizing, but thinking that one day you will not have problems in life. Now, problems, pain is progress. Problems and pain is progress. So, if I self-inflict this adversity, this pain and these problems, and if I overcome it purposefully with savage self-talk and intent, then I'm building these calluses within my mind, and I'm no longer being a bitch. I'm no longer sleeping in. I'm no longer snoozing my alarm. I'm no longer not leading my woman the right way, because ultimately women only crave security. Women crave security and only feel secured if they're being led by a man who knows how to lead, who can lead themselves in the right direction, and who doesn't down spiral, who stands 10 feet tall in their beliefs, and their beliefs are right. That is it. So if you're not leading yourself in the right direction, and if you're a constant consumer, and if you're constantly arguing with your woman, then you're telling her that she's on the same level as you are, and you're the same level as she is. So therefore, you're not capable of leading. You're not capable of looking up to and being admirable and desirable, not only for her, but y'all's future children. So what man are you to even be desired by that woman? You know, she may think this consciously or subconsciously, but subconsciously for sure is definitely notified by her that this guy may not be the right fit for us. No matter how nice you are, no matter what you do for her, no matter how many gifts you buy her, no matter how many paragraphs you write her in the morning, no matter how much affection you give her, that is always going to be there. So it all starts with, and I'm not saying that, hey, you know, it's if you're not that now and if you're in a relationship, it's done. No, not at all. You know, you have to be capable, confident, admirable, desirable as a man, and you have to be proud of yourself first and foremost. Now, I am this, and my woman sees this, and she is extremely admiring and desiring because I am this person. You know, I've created this person. But the moment that she knows that she can change the way I do things and the way my habits and actions are strictly off of her word is the moment that she realizes that she is actually the man of the relationship, the one wearing the pants, the one leading. I used to be the absolute piece of scum. I used to take all kind of substances while being in relationships, and those relationships obviously never worked out because it was just her mentally counseling me. You know, I've always craved being in a relationship with a woman that was much more mature than me, but now I have a woman that's I'm much more mature than, you know, and I don't know, it just happened that way. She fell in my hands from God. God brought her my way. I stopped seeking and she sought out me, but it all worked out well. It all worked out that way. And like I said, having an older or younger woman is all substantial. It's all perspective. It's all perspective. It's all personalized. What do you like and what do you want, you know? And if I say something and if you don't typically agree with it, whether that's the truth or not, then that is a complete and direct reflection of your own personal beliefs, you know? And if I say, you know, even if you do have money and you are providing for your family, you should get in the gym. Even if you have a physically demanding job, you should be in the fucking gym. I mean, what's with every other guy out there, blue collar guy, me used to be a blue collar guy, working every single day, long hours in the days in the sun, but still went to the gym afterwards, sometimes 1 to 3 hours. How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel, okay, yeah, sure, guy, you know, I'm just gonna keep working and providing for my family. Okay, awesome, you know, it doesn't correlate to you, it's not meant for you. Or does it actually hit you like you don't know what you're talking about, bro? You know, I do work on this and that, and you want to be argumentative, then that is something that you have to do some deep reflection on, and that's something that you have to look back on and say, hey, maybe this guy's right. Let the ego go and actually become the best possible version of yourself in which you can possibly fucking be. Because this is what I really want to say. Last thing, I do want to say this. So, if you are going about life and, you know, you have your own beliefs, you have your own morals and principles, and somebody says something that challenges that, you know, causes a little bit of conflict, that's good. That's really good. You know, let it be that way. Like, let it be that way. You have to drop the ego. Most of you guys out there do this. I see it so much. This is why I compare myself to men 30, 40 years old, and I'm 20 years old, you know, because I know that, you know, I built a business up, making $3,000 a month for my phone in my senior year of high school. I mean, that's unheard of, you know, while personally developing myself, not missing a single wake up or workout in 5 years straight. And I have social proof, I have Stripe proof, I have bank account proof, I have, you know, proof of everything. Proof in the pudding, guys. You know, I have fucking video recordings, everything. But anyway, so how do you men be so egotistical and so traditional to the point where in your household you are the man? You know, you're so confident, you're joking around, but the moment you step foot in public, the moment you step foot in, I don't know, a jail cell, a boxing gym, by yourself, mind you, hospital, a school, anything, you lose all the confidence. You stop joking around, you stop being yourself. You're an introverted bitch. You know why? Because there's a difference between doing something purposeful and being a purposeful man. Being a purposeful man is, regardless of any ego or tradition, you are upholding your word as a man, doing what you can, aligning yourself towards your purpose, but at the same time serving your wife, serving your kids. The moment you become traditional and egotistical is the moment that you feel as if you need to be validated by other men's opinion. And that is the most unattractive shit that any man can possibly do on this planet. So the moment that you get filled with ego, you get filled with tradition, how these things should be like, then that is a direct reflection of you're not confident and you've never personally developed yourself. You've never personally developed yourself into developing a solely independent mindset. That's why you're so dependent on, and you're so affected by what your wife tells you, what anybody above you mentally, physically, financially tells you. That's why you can't take fucking criticism. Because you've never dropped the ego. You've never said, okay, this is what I need to do. Stop being a bitch. Look in the accountability mirror and hold myself accountable into everything that I know and which is needed for me to be held accountable for. And the moment you do that is the moment that the breaking point will happen. You will feel amazing about yourself. On the frequency chart, acceptance is one of the highest forms of frequency that you can possibly feel. Regret and shame is the lowest. So, I mean, that's everything I just talked about. Accepting that you're a bitch, accepting that you have no discipline, accepting that you have not built anything throughout the years, you feel like a failure. You know, you feel worthless because all the work that you've instilled within yourself has not directly correlated towards personal development, the gym, or building yourself up mentally or physically. It's only correlated towards developing some other guy's or woman's dream, which is the 9-to-5 grind. It's needed for security, but what's also needed for security, which plays a much bigger factor, because we all know Tom Brady got cheated on. The biggest of the biggest guys got cheated on. They had security. They had your version of security. Money. You know. Roof over the head. Clothes on the back. Food on the table. The bare fucking minimum, dude. The bare minimum, okay? Like, wake the fuck up. Go to the gym. Better yourself physically, mentally. Stop being a bitch. I mean, dude, your bitch could go, your chick could go to my chick could go to any guy on this road, any guy on this street, any guy in this town, and have the exact same shit that she has now. I mean, what level of it? Yeah, that depends, but either way, who's not saying she could get better? But she's not sticking around because of that. That should be the bare minimum. But what should exceed the bare minimum, and what should actually improve her quality of life, is the quality of you.